Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another capsule series selection. Today, I'm happy to be able to put this list together for you guys today. I came up in picking out my scent of today, which is Dior by the House of Nasamato. A beguiling, leather-based, spicy, woody, masculine fragrance that I wanted to put on my skin today. And as I sit and thought about what I actually wanted to wear in my fragrance for today, I came up with this list. And I said, let me sit down and think about what it is that I would conjure or want to conjure as a feeling, as a personality, as a fragrance for today. And I came up with this list with you guys real quick, and I want to present it to you guys. It's going to talk about the textures and nuances of the forever present leather fragrance. If this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down. This is the lifestyle channel where we aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wine. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. As stated, I'm here to give a kind of a synopsis in my collection and in my journey about fragrances. The difference in leather fragrances from elegant and alluring to sexual and seductive. So I put together this little list for you guys to see, and if you agree with it, I hope you do. This is not a concise list on all of my great leather fragrances or the greatest leather fragrances in the community. This is just a fragrance list about the juxtaposition of fragrances that are from the same house that go in different directions but give you an appeal of either elegance or seductive sexiness. So let's get into the textures and nuances first about the first fragrance. Now this is a caveat because I know for certain that Irish leather from the house of Memo Paris is the exact, if not, I can't call it a dupe. I don't know how these two fragrance houses got the exact same formula and the exact same scent. You guys can go about figuring that out and going down a rabbit hole to find out. But all in all, the first two pairings of fragrances I want to give to you on the seductive side of things is African leather from the house of Memo. This is a very sexy, spicy leather-based fragrance that is full of oriental notes, woody notes, and sweetness. This is a very, very, very sexy fragrance to put on in the evening and nights for dates. And even an office-based scent because of the way the cardamom comes off of this particular scent. A very, very beautiful, seductive side of leather, spicy, woody, and oriental. That is Memo Paris. And now the second one from that particular house that I want to present to you, and I'm going to give it a caveat, like I said, Casa del Vivito from the house of Argos is the exact same formula for Irish leather from the house of Memo Paris. And so that's the only caveat to this list. I know that this is one of the most seductive yet elegant style of leathers out there. This is a fougere style. This is also spicy but with a herbaceous note. It's woody, it's smoky, it's very, very sophisticated and elegant leaning. It's one of those fragrances and has the fragrance accords that, like I stated, it's very green, very herbaceous, goes from this standout accord of mate and a soft suede leather. Very, very sophisticated scent. This is almost like a new luxury car smell. You have to be in the mood for this particular scent as well because of those notes and this being a very potent fragrance. But all in all, this is the second one I would equate from the house of Irish leather Memo Paris. This is Bavito da Caccia, and it is an exact fragrance in kind to Irish leather. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I want to venture over to the house of Christian Dior. Christian Dior, as you know, they have two fantastic leather fragrances on the market. They are kind of hard to find. One coming more and more to the scene to find, but the other one is a very difficult fragrance to find. You can find it in Europe, but that is the first being the seductive, sexy fragrance, and that is the fragrance, to me, the way Fahrenheit goes with its spicy sweetness, very leathery, very woody, oriental base, is a very, very sexy and sensual fragrance. It has a opening accord of lavender. It has that forever present violet accord, which makes it a bit petrolic. The nuances on this one are fantastic. Like I said, very sweet. Bourbon vanilla, benzoin in the base, amber, sexy, Gaiac wood, smoky, sweet. That is a very seductive leather from the house of Christian Dior, in my opinion. The designer fragrance that they came out with, very, very, very seductive. And next up, from the house of Christian Dior, let me present to you Christian Dior, Dior Homme Parfum. To me, this is one of the more elegant leaning leather-based fragrances that the community picked up and ran with, and for a very, very good reason. This is a sexy, powdery iris with a very rough and rugged leather, making this a very elegant, sophisticated leather-based scent. This is one that I have chosen to put on in many occasions, and this is a fragrance in my collection that has been around for 5 years. And I know for certain that I've only used 2, maybe 1 spray per usage because it's so potent. And that's why you see this is still a full flacon. It's a very, very beautiful, beautiful leather-based fragrance with some sweetness, woody and spicy. You know, you got the beautiful sandalwood accord, the iris, the very, very prominent iris over a rugged leather. It's a great scent from the house of Christian Dior that is very, very sophisticated leaning, suit and tie, tuxedo as well. Beautiful scent for that occasion, and that is the juxtaposition of Fahrenheit. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, as we venture down this list that I've come up with and compiled, I want to take you to the house of Xerjoff. Now, for me, Xerjoff does some very, very phenomenal fragrances. I am a very big fan of the house, and in this particular list, I have 2 leather-based fragrances that are so diametrically opposed in the way they come off. And the first is the sexy fragrance, and that is a very, very sensual, patchouli, fruity, smoky, sexy, sweet, spicy, leathery fragrance that goes by the name of Iomi Monkey Special. And this came out, I think, in 2021. This is one of the most sexy, sweet leather patchouli fragrances that I've ever smelled. I've done a particular review on this particular scent, and I cannot get past how sexy, seductive, and alluring this fragrance is in particular. It opens with a nice rum accord, some Bulgarian geranium. The mid has the leather accord, which comes out prominently and sits on the skin, along with a Singapore patchouli. Very, very sexy scent from the house of Xerjoff, the Iomi Monkey Special. Great, great fragrance. I recommend anybody has not gotten their nose on this or is kind of leaning towards smelling it because you've heard of it in the fragrance community. Get your nose on this particular scent. No one else has made this scent, in my opinion, that I can come up with. And I've smelled a lot of fragrances trying to search for another house that made one similar, and I cannot find it. Beautiful leather-based patchouli fragrance with the fruits, very masculine and sexy. And then next up, what we have from the house is one of those very elegant, rustic. The nuances for this particular scent, in thinking about how to describe this is one of the most elaborate made fragrances that I've smelled. It's a very animalic leather. This is one that comes off, as I stated in the past, when I've just given descriptions of it, this smells like Sauvignon Blanc. They've used notes of grape, bergamot, and rum in the opening, giving it a great boozy effect. Cumin and cedarwood in the middle with clove and cumin as well. A little castoreum, sexy myrrh and leather accords. This has got to be one of the most elegant, upscale, mature fragrances that brings a sophisticated appeal to a person that you want to fall right in line with when you're thinking of leather-based fragrances for the fall, for the winter, deep winter, when it's cool outside. This is a very potent juice. With one spray, you will get a 3-foot aura about yourself, a nice sillage about yourself, and it's a very, very complicated scent that comes on. The opening, the transition through the heart to the base is all a great evolution. Dried fruits is one of the main accords you get, but like I said, to me, very elegant. This smells exactly like I perceive a lot of Sauvignon Blancs that I've done on this channel to give a review on. This is a very good fragrance. It's not for everyone, not for the faint of heart as well, because it's very potent and it's not a newbie style of scent. This is one when you go into creative directions and want to learn more about what the artistry of perfumery is. But all in all, it's a very elegant, sophisticated, and sexy leather-based fragrance. And that is Cruz del Sur 1, if I hadn't mentioned that, from the house of Xerjoff, for the elegant leather-based fragrance in their house. Now, as we start to wind down this particular list, I have fragrances from the house of Armani Prive. These are 2 fragrances. One I have not touched on into any type of review or list or conversation about, but I intend to, because it's a great fragrance that no one, maybe a few people have spoken of this particular scent, but I think it needs to get very much so reviewed and reviewed heavily. Actually, both of them. The first one in the sexy category is Queer Majest. This is a Harrods exclusive fragrance that many people are curious about, and I've spoken on this and given this I think in one of my blend lists, if not and I'm just stuttering because this is such a sexy scent. If not a blend list, I've talked about this in the Connoisseur's Conversation on my channel. This is a very smoky, succulent fruit and smooth, just crazy, sexy, smooth, leather-accorded fragrance. Full of balsams, full of resinous notes, leathery, smoky, spicy, very, very sexy accorded fragrance that I think anyone, if you are a fan of rustic Tuscan leather style of leather fragrances with that slight bent of smooth yet rough and elaborate fruits. Now, this does not smell like Tuscan leather whatsoever, but the accords and the way they structure this can give you a qualifier as to the way both of them will smell on the skin and give off that same compliment factor. Very sexy. I love this particular scent. I won't give it anything less than my top 5 in my leather fragrance, because it's phenomenal. Very phenomenal leather-based fragrance. Addictive as hell too. Queer Majest by Armani Prive. And then next, what we have from Armani Prive is the Juxtaposition Queer Noir. Now, Queer Noir is also one of those fragrances from the house of Armani Prive. And this is a leathery, woody, rose fragrance that is ultimately one of the best, elegant suit and tie fragrances that you could put on your skin. This is a gala affair type of scent. This is one that I am very excited to have in my collection. It's been around for me for about a year and a half now. And I mean, when I say phenomenal, sexy fragrance. Very woody, almost slight florals to the mid. You have, I think, a jasmine and a May rose in the mid. Nothing feminine about this particular scent, but it is unisex, mostly masculine leaning unisex. Just phenomenal, elegant leather fragrance. The juxtaposition, like I said, from the sexy fragrance of Queer Majest, Queer Noir, and Queer Majest are just 2 great leather fragrances from the house of Armani Prive. Queer Noir, elegant. Queer Majest, sexy. I promise you get 2 of these. You get both of these in your collection, you won't need many other fragrances for your winter and fall wardrobe. Sexy ass fragrances, elegant fragrances, alluring, something you can't go wrong with from the house of Armani Prive. And those are 2 leather fragrances from that house that I enjoy. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, what I have for you in closing this list out, I have 2 phenomenal fragrances from the house of Roja Parfums. One being my holy grail and one being my signature scent. So you know how I feel about these 2 particular fragrances. First up in the sexy category, my signature scent for the last 5 years. This is the scent that I wear in those occasions where I know I have to be remembered and I have to be looked at with a certain amount of sex appeal. That is the Perfume de la Nuit number 3 by the house of Roja Parfums. A resinous, smoky, sweet, sophisticated, sexy fragrance that is just a gorgeous wearing fragrance that has so many spices that come off so sexy. He's one of the most beautiful, wonderful, artistic minds of perfumer. I don't know what to say about Roja sometimes, because I know we pick on him because of his prices, but a lot of times this stuff, I can't say it's worth it to many people. I can't say it's worth it. I can say it's worth it to me, because this scent, the cumin, the clove, the leather, the spicy, the sweetness, the almost honey feel, the way it glistens. This is one of the sexiest leather-based fragrances on the market. Just orange, tonka bean, vanilla, just gorgeous wearing, sexy fragrance that out of all the leather fragrances that I have, this is the one that takes the cake for me in its sex appeal. And that's saying a lot, because I've presented to you today some very sexy leather-based fragrances. That is De La Nuit number 3. And last but not least in this assortment of leather-based fragrances, I have my Holy Grail fragrance. That is the scent Great Britain by Roja Perfumes. And this here is by far, if not the one of the most elegant fragrances, not only in the leather realm, but in perfumery, to my honest opinion. This has one of the most gorgeous mids and openings that go into a leather base. The fragrance is a desire for you to wear once you smell this particular fragrance. You get addicted to that particular elegant fragrance. Violet, jasmine, very, very opulent, warming, just a cascade of notes that just stick to the skin and just bloom around you and turn to the most elegant man or woman in the room. This is a unisex fragrance. To me, leans mostly masculine to me because of the patrioticness of the violet with some of those woody accords and that leather. A female woman can pull this off, but to me, the way this smells and develops on skin, the florals on this come off very, very masculine. The leatheriness, the spicy accords, and that nice bed of smooth woods. I can't get enough of that one. That is the elegant fragrance as juxtaposition to the spicy one from the house of Roja Perfumes. Two beautiful fragrances that I think anyone should get samples of if they can. And that is my list of juxtaposition leather perfumes from the same house that I think anyone should see how they diametrically oppose each other but come off and give you great appeal and great allure and elegance in certain categories of your life and how you live. That is, again, my list of the juxtaposition of fragrances in the leather category. And today I am wearing Duro, which is a sexy, spicy, sweet fragrance by the house of Nasomato. Great as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my video for you guys today. As always, I hope if you got something entertaining or educational from this particular video, all you do is hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment below if you think that this list is comprehensive enough to you to pick up a fragrance or two. Drop a like below, drop a comment, let me know how you feel. If these are things that you feel are indifferent or something you don't agree with, let me know about that as well, because I love to see how people perceive these particular scents, if they like them or dislike them. Like I said, this is all subjective, but it's fun to talk about. Until next video, you guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you in the end.